bizarre expectations within some quarters of the international community and the media that the Taliban was perhaps turning over a new leaf, Taliban 2.0 as it were, have been quickly belied with the formation of the acting government in Kabul. It consists of the very people who are on the United Nations and other blacklists for their terroristic activities. This is even as young Afghani women and girls protested on the streets of Kabul, demanding their freedoms and condemning Pakistan. As Kabul gradually goes back to the more humdrum life following the caving in and fleeing of the Ashraf Ghani government barely a month ago, the well-known Afghan women and children's rights activist Mahbouba Seraj, determined to stay on in her country, is watching with a mixture of grave apprehensions and calibrated optimism. Mahbouba Seraj, who has been outspoken in her views on the US withdrawal, spoke to Mayank Chhaya reports this morning from Kabul.
There were expectations when the Taliban came in, the so-called Taliban 2.0, and now I see that it is now Taliban 0.2.
Yeah, it is. Taliban 2.0, Taliban
4.2.
Yeah, exactly. I don't get it. Anyways, they're Taliban and they have formed their government, and then and in this government we have 17 wanted on the wanted list of the United Nations. 17 of the people who are in the cabinet.
But,
and then when I read that, I started thinking. Yeah, and when I read that, I started thinking, okay, well, it's not really that different. In the cabinet before, nobody was, although they were the same kinds of people, they should have been on the list, they weren't. But okay, at least this time they are on the list and we all know it. So, hey.
Right. What's your impression of the new, you've already pointed out your impression of the new government, but do you see any opening anywhere for people like you, and not in terms of joining it, but in terms of any optimism or hope?
You know, women in general, I really don't think so. But if your question was about me, if there was I see any opening
No, I'm saying, do you feel any sense of optimism at all?
No, not at all. If I say that I am, I will be lying to myself and to everybody. No, I really don't. I don't think that's going to be happening, and I don't think that is something that, we should fool ourselves or the world or whoever and say no, it is going to be happening. It is not.
I see.
So,
is there any personal danger to you, because you are so outspoken, and I'm sure they notice that you are all over the place?
Yeah, I'm kind of all over the place. You're right, but then again, as being all over the place is I am, but I don't know if you have noticed or not. In most of my talks, that's one of the things that I stay away from, which is the a kind of a personally attacking these people. I don't like to do that. I actually like to do that if I could get my hands on some of the people from the previous government a lot more than I would attack these people.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, really. But these guys, no, I don't personally. I've never personally attacked them. But then at the same time, if they have done things that are wrong, I've always mentioned that too. But apart from that, no, I don't. I won't do that usually, and that's not the point, because I'm planning to live here. So
Absolutely. Is there any chance at all that someone within the leadership might look at someone like you with an international presence, someone who is erudite, to perhaps make a case of the so-called 2.0 that they are pretending to be?
I have no idea how they see things, how they look at things, how they're going to go about it. I have really absolutely no idea. So far, I've been wanting to at least talk to one of them or to somebody who's in charge. Actually, to Mr. Mujahid, I wanted to talk to, and I've sent the words, everybody. He knows that I want to talk to him, but I'm sure the man is extremely busy. It's just like, but the thing is that they have such a small or really absolutely no regards for women I mean, whatsoever. So for them to give time for, to listen to a woman must be the last thing that they want to do in this world, which in reality, it should be one of the first things that they should have wanted to do in Afghanistan, especially from a person like me, because what I will be telling them, it will be very different from what everybody else will be telling them. And it will be really useful for them. But
Right.
they don't want to, they don't like women, what can I say?
Speaking of them not liking women and having no regard for women, I heard an interview with one of their officials who described women as kharbuza. I mean, he actually used the term kharbuza, and I, being Indian, I understood kharbuza, and then I read the translation. What he was saying was that, would you buy a slice of kharbuza? No, but that's how women need to have a hijab on them. That was his worldview. So I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah. So it's just like, if you're slices of kharbuza or a whole kharbuza, I mean, dear God, it's like, what is this? What's happening? But anyways, yeah.
It is bizarrely
Sometimes
funny,
I feel
unfortunately.
Sorry?
I think it's bizarrely funny at some level.
I know. It's like, honestly, it just makes me, there are times when I cry and I laugh because there is nothing else I can do,
Right.
It's so sad, and at the same time it's so hilarious, and at the same time it's so comical, at the same time it's such a tragedy. It's like, oh my gosh,
Right.
all of it.
On
All of it.
Tuesday, a lot of people came out on the streets in Kabul.
Yeah.
There were a lot of women. They were rather assertive and vehement in their protest. Of course,
Yeah.
in the face of a lot of serious threat. What do you make of? Is there something brewing, you think?
Well, if it is something brewing, really is because of Panjshir in a way, a lot more.
I see.
It's not that they are maybe standing only because one of them did say that, and I have to quote her. It's not only for Panjshir. I mean, they're actually standing for the people of Afghanistan, men and women. But it is the Panjshir that they are standing for, and rightfully so. They want to. And they are also the young generation, and the young generation actually they haven't seen anything of the Taliban from before. So for them, accepting something like this is extremely hard because they were never raised, under these circumstances. They are raised to be curious. They are raised to be to be achievers. They're raised to be people who looks for knowledge, and they want to achieve things, and they want to do things, and they live in the kind of getting themselves to the 21st century. So for them, it's extremely hard. I understand that so well. But all the power to them. I just want them to be safe, as well as them being able to give their messages across.
But it is a very interesting new force even for the Taliban. They are not used to women who are so in your face and open and aggressive, right?
Yeah, no, I know that they are not. So I hope that they know how to handle it, because they are all of these are young girls, they are young women.
Right.
And they are like their daughters, their granddaughters. So I just hope that before doing anything, they really think of that they are not their enemy. These girls had nothing to do with the way everything turned out, for the 20 years of whatever it was going on, and the fact that, because they keep on asking them, where were you? Why didn't you stand for us when we were being in danger and we were losing our lives? And how come you didn't raise your voice then, as far as the human rights was concerned, and as far as our rights were concerned? Why didn't you say anything? It is legitimate in a way, to tell you the honest truth.
Right.
After a while, when you get to know everything for what it actually is, or what actually happened. But at the same time, I hope that they know that they are their daughters, they are like they are the young generation of this country, and they have to stay alive and be a part of this country. I hope that one day they will get to that, and not destroy or disappoint all of them, because that would be very sad.
Do you mean Taliban maybe trying to project some kind of victimhood here that we also suffered?
Yes, they are working on that. They are using that
Ah,
a
I see.
lot,
Oh,
actually.
really?
Yeah, they are using it a lot, and they are saying that, how come you were, when all of this was happening to us, and we were being bombarded, and we were being, the drones were used on us, and we lost our families and everything, and you can, yeah,
Oh,
they are
really?
doing that. Yeah, you
That's
can see.
that's rather remarkable.
Yeah, really,
Uh,
they are doing.
speaking of Panjshir, there were some hopes vested in Amrullah Saleh and Ahmed Massoud. Uh, do you think they are able to create some kind of pushback, or you think they've decided not to?
Um, I don't know about Umbrella Saleh, but I know Ahmad Massoud, wanted to do something. Unfortunately, we lost an amazing man. We lost Dashti,
Right.
whom I respected so much, and I really loved that man. And he was such an amazing human being. May his soul rest in eternal peace. He was a fantastic writer, and he was really a revolutionary in the sense of
Right.
real revolution. And I've worked with him, and there were some shows and things that him and I used to be together on the talk shows and things. I really had a lot of respect for that man. I'm so sorry we lost
Right.
him. But at the same time, I don't think Ahmad Massoud wants, he wants to gather people around the fact that they're all, let's do something, let's stand for something, more than what they're offering us. Whether this is going to be something that everybody's going to do, or they're not going to do, or they accept or not, I don't know. Because at the same time, one thing that I want to mention is the fact that Afghans are so sick and tired of war. We are so sick and tired of fighting. It's been so many years that we all have been fighting, and this is all we know, and we don't want to do that. So there is that fatigue that, in the real sense of it, is with everywhere with every Afghan. And it's not that I'm sure that they don't want to stand with Ahmed Massoud. It's just that I don't think they really have it in them anymore to die or to get killed for whatever, for something that is supposed to be happening in the future. So they want to, I don't know what they want to do, but this is where the whole thing is happening. And I hope that our Panjshiri brothers are safe, or they're being treated well, or I hope that one day we learn that we all treat each other well, because we really have been so nasty with each other. It's horrible.
Do you think within the mentality that the Taliban operates in, even the medieval regard for Sharia and Islamic way of doing things, do you think it's possible to have at least some semblance of normal life now that there is no other choice for Afghanistan at this stage?
Well, I don't think it's going to last, though. That's the whole thing.
I see.
It will be, most probably it is going to be, for a while, people are going to do it, or going to give it a try. I know that. People will definitely give it a try. But somewhere along the line, somewhere in the future, something is going to come out. Something is going to come out that the people of Afghanistan will realize that there is no way they can live with it. Either Pakistan is going to get involved, and they cannot live with that at all. Afghans cannot live with that. Or something like that is going to happen. And then if and when that happens, that's when the whole trouble is going to start, really.
I see.
And besides, I don't really know for how long you can hold off a nation, a people, that they're used to music because they love it so much, and they have the musical instruments and the singing and the voice and the poetry and the the people that they love to wear the most colorful colors of the world, in their dresses, men and women. The men of Afghanistan, when they walk out of their homes, the way their women look after them, they really look like peacocks. I swear, they're so gorgeous, so looked after. And all of that, and take away all of that from a people and say, don't do that anymore.
Right.
Do you think that's actually doable? Do you think people are going to say, yeah, I'm going to stretch my legs and I'm going to get ready to die?
Yes,
I don't think so.
Absolutely.
I really don't think so. So this is the danger signs. And this is something that I wanted to talk to these people, apart from, one or two of three of these examples. I wanted to talk to them and say, no, this is not the way to go about it. You cannot. You have to find another way to appease all of these young soldiers that you promised them the moon.
Right.
You told them, that you're going to give them everything. So you have to give them something, but this is not what it's going to be.
Right.
It won't be.
Interesting you should mention music, because some photographs are doing the rounds of social media where they smashed drums and piano and other musical instruments. Because
from the music school. Yeah. From the music institute.
It just doesn't make sense, right?
No, it really doesn't make sense. It really doesn't make sense. It's like what kind of a Gunaya Kabira is this? What kind of the biggest sin of the world that you do the tabla, or you want to listen to some music?
Right.
How is it possible?
And Afghan music is great music.
Exactly. It's a part of our culture, We do have that drum, and we dance, and we do the atan. This is what we do. This is what we do.
And another interesting point that you made is about Afghanis, both men and women, do like to turn out well. Dress up well. They apply the kohl in their eyes, for instance, things like that.
Yes.
And looking good is part of your culture, I suppose, part of South Asian culture. So.
It is. All of us, we are like that. We really look after ourselves. We want to be clean. We want to look nice, and this is what we do,
Right.
And in Islam, cleanliness is a part of, being a Muslim. It's very important.
Right.
Prophet Muhammad was using perfume on him. He was a very well dressed, well looked after man. I don't know what's wrong with these people. What do they think? It's not going to happen like this. It's really not.
It is baffling. I'm curious to know for our viewers, daily life, for instance, when you wake up in the morning. Do you go out? What kind of mood do you feel in the streets? Do you go to a marketplace? Do you do normal things that people elsewhere do?
Yeah, the life is, in a way, it's really normal. It's just gotten quiet a lot more.
I see.
There are not that many cars on the streets, and the reason why there are not that many cars on the streets is not that it's not because there are not that many important people on the streets. So before, anytime a wazir or a wakil or whoever was coming from one side of town to the other side of town, the whole traffic would stop. So when the traffic stops, and then traffic jams are going to be created,
right.
And those traffic jams were created, and people were absolutely fed up. Now, thank God, we don't have those black cars and running around,
right.
and police and traffic running before them and stopping and all of that. So that has actually we have less traffic on the streets. Also, a lot of the barriers that they were built all around the city of Kabul, they have been knocked down, and hopefully they are going to be knocking down a whole lot of them. So the city is going to take another phase to it. I know that. But at the same time, and the rest of the people, the ones that are going to work, and the ones that are the shopkeepers are opening their shops, and so all of that are happening. And once the offices, the government starts working, and the ministries start working, and the schools are starting, also universities are starting. So all of that, is going to really change the whole outlook. Yeah.
I'm also interested in what happens to your own center.
I'm glad you asked that, and I'm really I'm trying to say that, Mr. Mayank, I would like to keep it. I would like to work on it. I would like this organization to be alive. I would like this because we are doing a whole lot of humanitarian work, and we want to keep on doing it because there is going to be, a lot of need for it in Afghanistan. I know that we are going to be entering some very, very difficult eras. Again, in the future because of the lack of food, because the winter is coming, and all of those things. So I would like, there are some women organizations that they were working in this field that I would like them to be well and alive and be functional, and for the Taliban to give us, the green light so we could be working. We will be a good asset to have, next to them because we know we have a lot of experience in this area.
Right. Is that something that you might consider discussing with some of the Taliban leadership?
Definitely. Yeah, because that is something that we have to talk to them. And actually, they came to our office and yesterday, and they came to our office yesterday, and I talked to them, and they they even put two of their guards to guard us here just in case. And we talked to them about what we are doing, about what the shelters are or the safe houses, how we keep the women of Afghanistan, from being on the streets and being abused and being, in danger, because, there's so much happening. And we are just, we are feeding them, we are looking after them. We become their mothers, their sisters, their whatever, their daughters, and keep them there. And we would like to be able to do that because I'm sure that they will know also that by them coming to Afghanistan, that's not going to be the end of, all the miseries of this country. The miseries will go on, and they will be needing, places and people that can look after.
Absolutely.
So
there were reports that I think the Pakistani intelligence chief was in Kabul.
Please. Really.
I mean, that's already happening. You have someone like Sirajuddin Haqqani as Interior Minister.
I know. It's like, this is killing me. This is killing all of us. This is really killing all of us. I'm telling you the truth. Truly, this is something that is just putting such a pressure on my heart. Right. And this is that we don't want that. I really don't want that. We don't want the Pakistani ISI to come and tell us, how to run our business here and how to run this country. And I hope that the Taliban does not allow that. But I don't know whether they can or not. I don't know. But that is where the one of the biggest problems are going to be coming out of that, and is going to be the source of a lot of trouble in the future.
Right.
That's my opinion, and the way I've seen it, and the way seeing the world, and the way seeing the Pakistan and the Taliban and blah 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 before and now in the world, and all of this 20 years. I think that's where the whole trouble is. Yeah.
Another striking feature was comments by the acting education minister, I forget his name, who said that you don't need PhDs and masters to do what we look at us. We are in power. Now, education is not something that's going to be respected. Do you worry about how that might play out in policy making?
Yeah, of course. I mean, if that's the, but I don't think that outlook or that kind of an outlook is going to survive. I really don't think so. Because this is the what they have as the cabinet right now is not the permanent one. This is just the acting.
Right.
So let's see what happens in the future, because how can you say that that's not what is needed? It's pretty bizarre to say something like that.
Just to understand. There are not going to be any elections anytime soon, right? This acting government will then become a permanent government in some form.
Well, it really all depends. It's just the beginning of whatever. It depends on how the world is going to take this whole thing. It depends on what the big players of the world, which has the money, and the money is something that Afghanistan, this government or any government, needs it. How they're going to be doing it. It depends on how our neighbors are going to be, looking at this whole thing. It depends on a lot of things, but mainly it depends on the big players of the world and our neighbors. How they take this, whether they want to run with it or not, whether they are accepting it, whether they are not going to accept it, how they're not going to accept it, what will be brought at the table as a give and take, of whatever, how they're going to be playing this card game, how it's going to be played. It's something that we really have to watch and see what's going to happen. These are the steps by steps of it,
Right.
and nothing has begun in reality, although this much has.
Right.
But still, because still we don't have banks, for example. There's no money. Still there is. So all of that. So we'll see what happens.
In
Let's-
terms of details such as dress code, for instance,
Yeah.
is this already being enforced on streets, or that hasn't happened yet?
No, it hasn't, and it's and there is. I don't think there's going to be hopefully an enforcement in such a way, per se, because the women of Afghanistan, they are very careful, and they are wearing their hijab, and they're all covered. So I don't think they want him any more than that. As far as the niqab or the mask is concerned, that's very cultural. It has nothing to do with the culture of Afghanistan. And as far as the burqa is concerned, that is nowhere in Quran is mentioned that the burqa should be worn. So I think what our covering our faces,
Right.
I don't think it's going to be a number one. So this much of our face, yes,
Right.
and then that's it. Yeah, and
Okay.
the rest of our body. Yeah.
Is there any middle of the ground constituency in Kabul or elsewhere which might reason that, okay, we have this in place now? It's not our choice, but at the very least, we have something that we can perhaps try and work with for the sake of the country. Forget ideology, forget the fact that you disapprove completely of the Taliban. Are there people who are thinking in terms of these moderate, pragmatic terms at all?
I am hoping. I really am. But so far, I haven't seen anything like that, to tell you the truth.
Okay.
As much as I wanted to. But then again,
Okay.
there are just a few more weeks. There's going to be a few more groups of people leaving the country. They're going to be taken to safety. So maybe after that, there might be a change in that, and maybe slowly that moderate group will be formed.
I see.
Hopefully, I don't know, but maybe I have no idea whether it's going to happen or not. That I really don't know that either. I can't say. Can't
Right.
really say.
And finally, the U.S. is out.
Yeah.
China is significantly, and so is Pakistan.
Yeah.
Once again, I come back to my immediate question about what do you think India can or should do at this stage? Do you think India
I
has
think-
a role at all?
I think I told you about India before.
That's
India
right.
really didn't do what they should have done. They
Right.
really didn't. They stayed back, and that was not a good thing for India to do. They didn't get involved as much as they should have, because they could have, and because of the fact that they are a powerful neighbor of ours, and they could have really played a big game. But for some strange reason, that's also another one of those things that I don't get. They didn't do it, so I don't know. Like how it is, but I'm sure you will find out one day.
No, I'm sure. Yeah.
Then maybe you can share it with me, because I'm completely
No,
baffled.
it's a terrible dilemma for India.
Yeah,
I mean,
it really is. It really is. Yeah, I know.
I'm sure they are recalculating everything at this stage. I think even
Everything.
Russians are in touch with India. Secretary
Yeah,
Blinken was in touch. Everybody is in
yeah,
touch, but I don't know
yeah.
what the overall plan is at this stage.
Yeah, I have no idea, but but whatever it was, there was a huge window of opportunity that was actually open, and India could have gotten in as the mediator
Right.
of a whole lot of things, and really do some work, but they chose not to. So I don't know.
No, there was a meeting with a Talibani representative in Doha with the Indian ambassador.
Yeah,
Stanik Zai and Indian ambassador Mittal met in. So I think there is something afoot, but I don't know to what extent this is
yeah,
going
I,
on.
I have no idea. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I know. I know what you mean.
And finally, before I let you go, in terms of, I'm extremely curious to know when someone like you wakes up in Kabul of today,
Yeah.
what kind of first thoughts do you wake up with?
I sometimes wake up and I say, "Oh my God, thank you, God," but I wish it was, about 2-3 months ago, my life in those days instead of this.
I see.
But again, I'm as I said, I'm a optimist,
Right.
and I'm really grateful for every single thing that we all have and I have at this point in my life that the world doesn't. So I'm grateful in every step of the way. But at the same time, I do wish it's like, what happened to that life of mine? But
Yeah.
anyways,
Yeah. No, on that note, I really want to thank you for your generosity in giving me time. I'm
thanks,
grateful
Mr.
for
Mahmood.
that.